Magic fertilizers for all vegetables. 100% success results. That's what we're all about here at Rootshaven Grounds. We don't chase shortcuts. We build strong soil, resilient plants, and harvests that actually feed families. But here's the truth that, honestly, many gardeners discover a little late vegetables don't fail because you don't have a green thumb. They fail because the soil is hungry. When you learn how to feed your plants correctly, consistently, and naturally, vegetables respond almost like magic. Leaves deepen in color, growth accelerates, flowers hold, and yields multiply. That's what people call magic fertilizers, not because they're mysterious, but because they work every single time when used right. This guide is an evergreen, all-season fertilizer system you can use on every vegetable, leafy greens, tomatoes, peppers, root crops, legumes, and even fruiting vines. Whether you're gardening in containers, raised beds, or open ground, these methods will give you reliable, repeatable success. What magic fertilizer really means in gardening is, well, there is no single powder or bottle that guarantees success. Real magic happens when nutrients are delivered in forms plants can absorb, at the right time, and in balance with soil life. Vegetables need nitrogen for leafy growth, phosphorus for roots and flowers, potassium for fruiting and disease resistance, and trace minerals to run everything behind the scenes. When any one of these is missing, growth stalls. The fertilizers we use at Rootshaven Grounds work because they feed both the plant and the soil. Healthy soil microorganisms unlock nutrients, improve water retention, and protect roots. Once this system is in place, vegetables grow stronger with less effort from you. The foundation of great gardening really starts with compost as the first magic fertilizer. If I could only recommend one fertilizer for all vegetables, it would be rich, mature compost. Compost is not just nutrients, it's living fertility. It improves soil structure. För sensory guide and dine and embedding fiber and dider. Differs leanders, these nutrients slowly so plants are never shocked or burned. Before planting, compost should be mixed into the top layer of soil. During the growing season, a thin compost top dressing around plants acts like a slow-release feed. Vegetables respond with steady growth rather than sudden weak spurts. Even poor soils can be transformed in one season with consistent compost use. For container gardeners, compost should make up at least 1/3 of your potting mix. That alone solves many mystery problems like yellowing leaves and stunted growth. Liquid gold. Compost tea for fast results. When vegetables look tired or need a quick boost, compost tea works like magic. This is one of the most powerful tools we use at Rootshaven Grounds because it delivers nutrients and beneficial microbes directly to plant roots and leaves. So, compost tea is made by soaking mature compost in water and letting it steep until the water turns dark and earthy. When you water it around the base of your plants, it improves nutrient uptake almost immediately, and when you spray it on the leaves, it actually helps strengthen your plants against pests and diseases. It's best to use compost tea every 2 to 3 weeks during active growth. You'll notice that leafy vegetables become thicker and greener, while flowering vegetables set more blooms and actually hold them longer. Nitrogen power manure-based fertility done right. Nitrogen is really the engine of vegetable growth, but it has to be applied carefully. Well-rotted animal manure is honestly one of the most effective natural nitrogen sources, but only when it's fully composted. You should never apply fresh manure directly, but aged manure feeds plants gently and safely. Manure-based fertilizers work exceptionally well for heavy feeders like cabbage, spinach, kale, maize, tomatoes, and peppers. When you mix it with compost or use it as a soil amendment before planting, it provides long-lasting fertility all season long. And hey, for gardeners who don't have access to animal manure, plant-based alternatives like composted green waste or legume residues can deliver pretty similar results when they're used consistently. The root booster bone meal and phosphorus-rich amendments. You know, strong roots are really the secret to drought resistance and heavy harvests. Phosphorus supports root development, flowering, and fruit formation. Bone meal is a slow-release phosphorus source that works beautifully for all vegetables, especially root crops and fruiting plants. Applying phosphorus-rich amendments at planting time helps seedlings establish faster and reduces transplant shock. Tomatoes, peppers, beans, carrots, and onions respond particularly well with improved flowering and stronger root systems. Because phosphorus moves slowly through soil, it's best incorporated into the planting area rather than surface applied. Potassium for bigger, better harvests. If your vegetables grow well but produce poorly, potassium is often the missing link. Potassium improves fruit size, flavor, disease resistance, and overall plant strength. Wood ash, banana peels, and potassium-rich composts are excellent natural sources. At Rootshaven Grounds, we use potassium strategically during flowering and fruiting stages. When tomatoes, cucumbers, and squash begin to flower, a potassium boost helps flowers turn into fruit instead of dropping off. Used in balance, potassium transforms average harvests into abundant ones without sacrificing plant health. Sometimes soil feeding isn't enough, especially during stress from heat, heavy rain, or pests. Foliar feeding, spraying nutrients directly onto leaves, provides immediate relief. Leaves absorb nutrients quickly, bypassing soil limitations. Mild liquid fertilizers made from compost tea, seaweed extracts, or diluted organic fertilizers are ideal for foliar feeding. This technique is especially helpful for leafy greens and fast-growing vegetables. Foliar feeding should supplement, not replace, soil fertility. Think of it as first aid rather than a long-term solution. You know, the real power of these magic fertilizers really lies in how they work together. Compost builds the base, compost tea activates growth, nitrogen fuels leaves, phosphorus strengthens roots, and potassium improves harvest quality. When you apply this system thoughtfully, it honestly works for every vegetable, in every climate, year after year. Beginners benefit because mistakes are forgiven, organic fertility is gentle and forgiving, and experienced gardeners benefit too, since yields increase without increasing workload. This is how sustainable gardening becomes enjoyable instead of exhausting. Overfeeding is, honestly, one of the biggest mistakes gardeners make. More fertilizer does not mean better results. Vegetables actually prefer steady nutrition, not sudden excess. Another mistake is feeding the plant but ignoring the soil. Without soil life, nutrients just go unused. Consistency matters more than quantity. Small, regular feedings outperform heavy, irregular ones every single time. Magic fertilizers aren't secrets reserved for experts. They're really just simple, natural systems built on understanding how plants and soil work together. When you feed your vegetables correctly, success stops being unpredictable and starts becoming routine. If you found this guide useful, make sure you subscribe to Rootshaven Grounds on YouTube, share this article with a fellow gardener, and join our growing community of people turning soil into abundance. Your garden has more potential than you think, and we're here to help you unlock it.